Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta. Oh, shitty.
Oh, back to the mouth noises, huh, Tim?
I didn't do any of that. I was quiet.
My can did not pop very good. I didn't like my.
No.
Try
Yeah,
again.
it was-
You want to
Both.
start over.
Let me chug this one and get another one. Welcome back, guys. Hey, good weekend, good week. You guys doing well?
Yeah,
Pretty
for the
good.
most part.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot
Right.
going on, you know. I mean, it's sickeningly hot outside. Just ridiculous.
Sizzling.
Is it that bad?
It's pretty warm.
My car was saying on my way back from Whitewater on Sunday. My
Ooh.
car was saying it was 105 degrees outside.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We haven't officially hit over 100, have we?
I don't
No,
No.
I think that must
98?
like the feels like it must have been like the heat off the highway type of thing. My
Right.
car always says it's a little hotter than it probably is, but still it's up there. It was not cool.
We'll stop doing things outside, like going to Whitewater.
It's mostly shaded and it's cold water.
There you go. There you
Try
go. They
fun.
booze there. I haven't been to Whitewater.
They do, but don't do it. It's not even worth it.
Like
I know
$22
that's
for a 12
crazy.
ounce beer or what?
I don't think I've been to Whitewater since I've been old enough to drink legally.
Yeah, it's like $13 for a beer. You have to stay in this like very small like square. You can't like bring it into any water at all. And they do like it's like a $1 or $2 surcharge on everything. So like everything is just $1 or $2 more than it actually says because
So just have the price built in.
I know, yeah, it's real stupid. We bought like I said, we bought that meal plan, which doesn't include any alcohol either. But I bought one beer there and was like, no, thanks. This is not a drinking place.
That
You
could
bring
also
your
get you gets a little upset stomach drinking too much beer and going down water slides, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing that, but if you have an 8-year-old, they don't really like going down all the slides so much. So it's a lot of lazy river and a lot of wave pool.
Yeah, lazy river. That was my go-to. I don't do water slides. Wave pool.
I mean, it's still worth
lazy
it.
river. Yeah,
Lazy river is great.
Lazy river is fantastic. Just like floating in a river of everyone's pee, because no one's getting
really
that.
cold. It's when you get in that wave pool.
So people really need to start peeing then a lot.
The wave pool like turns body temperature, and they apparently close it for large swaths of time during the day to clean it. And so it just like they're just like, all right, everybody out. We got to like reset the pool. So I don't know what they're shocking it with or whatever, but it's kind of nasty.
Yeah,
That's where everybody got E. coli some years ago.
You're making Whitewater sound so appealing right now.
The lazy river's rad.
Okay.
Is it crowded?
It's very crowded. Very crowded.
Zero interest. I mean, it's one thing when you got one kid. If I were trying to do that with all three kids, that just sounds like an absolute nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That does sound tough.
All right, so I didn't think we had a lot of Georgia State stuff to talk about today, other than the release of the video game. But I sat down on my desk for a few minutes and I got loads of things. So let's get to it. I guess we'll talk about the video game. None of us have it. None of us have played it, so I don't know how much we can actually say about it. But all the videos I'm seeing online are pretty cool, and apparently we've already prediction has been fulfilled. Georgia State national championships.
Against Texas Tech, 111 to 185 or something.
I think the scores in this game look outrageous.
I think that's what was weird. And shout out to Grant. Grant was the one that posted the video of beating Texas. The thing I took away from it is it's weird that Georgia State, obviously it'd be weird for Georgia State to win a national championship, but out of all teams we would beat, Texas Tech did not have that one. I was like, you would think it'd be in Ohio State and Michigan, something like that. But Texas Tech, somehow the sim got them to the national championship game.
Yeah, kind of weird.
But
what conference were they even in?
Big 12?
I think it's
all right.
Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Texan in the room says Big 12 too.
Gotcha.
I feel like looking at some of the other scores, they're all like 181 to something. Like, what did EA think about probably making it more realistic? Like, that's not going to happen.
No, somebody put it on easy.
No, that, and it's probably like 15-minute games, like or 15-minute quarters instead of like the short games they normally do.
Right.
Because
easy is really easy. You just bomb it every single play, and you score every single play. So
you pretty much score every drive.
If you
Right.
Yeah. But no, it looks cool. I think the one thing I wanted to see, which I've seen a little bit of, is the rendering of Center Park Stadium. It looks good.
It looks pretty good.
It looks full.
It looks great.
They can't. I mean, they're not gonna. Actually, they should make it realistic. Like, if your team starts to lose a lot of games, they should start dwindling fans down to make it like normal. I mean, obviously,
Or in our case, start
we
the season
start low,
with no
we go up.
fans.
Yeah.
Well, so before the video came out of our little preview video they released, Ben had sent me the Kennesaw State thing, and they had like a dozen fans per section. It was bare bones, and my text to him back was like, "Oh my god, if they're doing based off of actual attendance, we're going to look horrible. We'll never hear the end of it." Instead, packed house. You know,
I'll take it. Was the upper deck, was that full? You know,
like they had the awning
I
stuff.
didn't see that.
They had all that. So they had the Panthers on the.
Oh, cool.
Covered.
That's
They really
like a thing. They like clearly they went and looked at pictures and like figured it out.
They spent some time on it. They did a good job. I mean, I liked seeing all the blue and white though. I'm like, man, I really want to. I mean, and I think for us, what they could do is have some games with paltry attendance, and then have like that one game this season where we have actually pretty decent, good attendance, and like fill it up, and then go back to, you know,
the first game, and then when Trash Down South comes in town.
Yeah, or when Kennesaw was the first game, or was it
at the first game? First game was Tennessee Tech,
yeah,
Tennessee State, Tennessee.
But we had pretty good attendance for Kennesaw State, I thought.
Yeah, that was probably our second highest attended game.
Yeah,
there. But the band plays Georgia on My Mind after the
end.
game's over. Ah. Yeah. So but there's no Pounce. Pounce is not in the game.
That's weird.
Ooh.
I guess he wasn't in the NCAA 14 either. So.
There were like pictures of him though. I thought, like in the loading screen type of thing. Like I thought I saw like literally real pictures of Pounce.
There may be
just not in game.
Like not sidelines, no activities, no video, no shenanigans as Pounce tends to do and get himself into. That crazy cat.
What are you talking about, David?
I wonder how many some schools got their mascot in the game.
That's my question. It's like, how common are mascots in game? Well, I know one school that did not get their mascot in there, and that'd be Lafayette, because they don't have a mascot.
It's not like a big chili pepper.
They used to, but like
that's what it should be.
They really should get the NIL deal with Chili's, because it looks like the little Chili's pepper, you know?
Yeah.
So
clear win.
And I bet that's like the fanciest restaurant in all of Lafayette. That or the Applebee's.
Maybe like the chili with like the pointy bottom with like the legs just look too much like a big dong.
Funny, I have a comment about that. Not that particularly, but I have a last call conversation for us to have. Remind me of
okay.
That. I'll
remind you of big dongs, David.
Big dogs.
Brian, you always remind me of big dongs.
No one has ever said that to me in their life.
I feel flattered.
Not that you have one, but you just remind me of one. Your face.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Man.
I don't know what I'm saying. No, the game looks cool. I want to play it. I'm more of at this point in my age, I just like to watch people play video games.
I just like to watch.
Exactly. I'll sit in the corner in a chair by myself.
With a sheet or something, yeah.
Yeah, no reason to get into too many details there, Tim. All right, but no,
this is just a last call episode.
We need to have like a game party where we get together and just watch Georgia State demolish.
One of us should waste a bunch of money, buy a console in the game.
I mean, I have an Xbox.
Well, I was going to say, Tim, as the person here that does not have kids, you have the more disposable income than we do. So
fair enough. I will see. I don't know, the next week or two. We'll see. I mean, technically, the game's only out for deluxe edition. I guess if you paid more money, you get to play it sooner. Which I don't know.
It is a thing that's happening.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have it, so I didn't pay attention.
The real game comes out, I think, Friday for everyone.
Okay. All right, cool. We'll see what happens. All right, other stuff. The kickoff luncheon was announced, and I just want to talk about it because Georgia State still cannot get out of their way of Georgia Stating, GSUing things. And they announced the kickoff luncheon. It talks about at being at Center Park Stadium, and then in the where, when, why details thing, whatever, it says it's at the Convocation Center, and it's at the Convocation Center. It's not at the football stadium because they want it to be bigger. They want to have more people, so they moved to a basketball arena from a football field.
It seats more in that area. Did they do it here last year?
Last year it was at the stadium.
The kickoff luncheon?
The kickoff was.
Yeah, definitely in the University Club.
Okay.
Yeah. And I could see it because the University Club is kind of awkward as far as doing a presentation because you really do have a hard time. It's long. It's not wide.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to get a good view in there, all those pillars. So if they want to do it on the court, like if they're going to do this actually on the basketball court, you have a lot more room there, I guess. But I just find it amusing that they listed as two different locations. They just copied the boilerplate or whatever from the previous year's thing. But it'll be at the Convocation Center. And it's cheaper. I think it's cheaper. Wasn't it like $500 a table before? It's $200 for a table.
Because they want more people.
Or $30 a person.
Price.
I don't know. I usually just Venmo somebody whatever they ask for.
Yeah, that's what I got to do with Danny because he got our table for us.
Yeah.
So but
when
that'll be cool.
it?
I'll be there August.
When is it?
August 7th, the day after somebody with a medical license has their probes up my butt. So I got my colonoscopy, and then the next day I get to go get screwed by Georgia State. So it'd be fun.
You get probed by McGee. Good luck.
Oh yeah, that's some probing questions for you.
What do y'all think happens at kickoff luncheons? What happens to y'all at kickoff luncheons?
You'll find out, Ryan. You'll find out.
Am I not paying enough?
If you're not getting paid while you're there, yeah. So August 7th, I think it's the 7th. That'd be fun. I'll be there. You guys going? You're gonna be there? Be at our table?
I literally just learned about it right this second. So
I saw the group me chat on it, and I didn't pay attention to the date, but it's a Wednesday, and that's usually a better day for me. So that sounds like I can go.
Well, I have a weekly status meeting at 11:30 every Wednesday, so this is a great excuse to not go to that. So, yeah. Nice. All right. Moving on through. Tim, you wanted to talk about the 3-game ticket package that came out?
Yeah, I mean, I like it from athletics, trying to get some support, trying to get the, get some Southern people, because I think, isn't the Southern ticket more expensive?
Probably so. We always charge more for that game.
I mean, this is like a tactic that Tech used to use. They used to put Georgia and 2 other games together as a package, and they would get Georgia fans to buy it. So they get ticket sales, even if they're not going to come to the game, and then people flood the market to try to resell those tickets. So, I mean, it's a good move on their part.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I know that teams do that, and I think when we played Alabama or something, you had to buy, like, season tickets to get it wasn't, I don't know. Schools do that all the time, but I think it just kind of sucks because then you have all these tickets sold for other games that no one shows up to because, if the Trash Down South fans are, buying the ticket to come to that game, they're not going to go to Coastal. They're not going to go to Old Dominion.
If they live in Atlanta, they might.
Really?
But do we want them?
I mean, I don't want to be in a conference with them, let alone have them in our stadium, just desecrating the whole thing. You think people say the stadium looks like it needs renovations, it needs a cleanup, whatever. No, they just see it when Trash Down South fans are there. Like, no, if you get rid of them, the actual place looks pretty nice. So,
it could use a good power washing. Come on.
It could use a good power washing.
I think the chairs could use one of the like blowtorch thing that I saw people doing.
I would pay money towards the pack or the NIL, whatever they want, to let me blowtorch some seats in there. That would be so much fun.
What if it just melts them, really?
Well, it sort of does, I think. I think that's sort of like it makes them look brand new, though.
You're just kind of burning off the top layer of all the little plastic crap. Probably really inhaling all kinds of fumes. Probably getting some cancer while you're out there. It'd be good times.
I mean, if you're not getting cancer, you're not living life.
Exactly. Do I want to die of natural causes or want to die something manly like cancer?
Well, I'm
right. No idea what I'm saying right now.
Wow. I guess talking about the stadium and not cancer, did either of you get to see the updated sign that's not immensely faded and blurry? No?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I still haven't. Yeah, no, because I don't really go
that way
to that area very often. And like, because my exit is the exit. Even if I'm coming from the south, I get off right before I get to the stadium. I'm like just south of the stadium. I get off the exit there.
So they've updated the signage. What you're saying, Tim, right?
Yes. So apparently, at some point, they replaced the really faded, like paint dripping looking Center Park Stadium sign with a new one, which is great.
I would have to imagine that Center Park, if anybody that works at Center Park that is involved with this kind of name branding thing, whatever, if they see that, they're like, guys, come on, this looks bad on us. This is not a good look. Like, I don't care.
We pay you enough for a sign,
What is it? $1 million a year, something like that.
Fixer sign.
I know they were wanting $2 million. I don't think we got $2 million. We got like $1.5 million. I don't think we got $2 million a year was what they were going for.
Whatever we got was decent, right? From what I hear.
Yeah, I think they wanted $40 million. I think they wanted $40 million over 20 years, and we got $10 million for 10 years or something like that. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Well, I guess we'll see pretty soon. I haven't been down that way past downtown lately.
If I go to the airport in August, I'll see it.
That's it. The airport. That's when I go, and I have not been there in a while. So
because I can't see myself driving further south than the stadium until I go to the airport.
Yeah.
Pretty much. There's not much down there.
No.
I want to read something out. There was a website, a podcast, or something. Updog Sports Talk. What's up, dog? And they did their 2024 preview of Georgia State's football season, and they had some I don't know, it was off-season kind of content, whatever. It was some good things to hear and some reality checks as well. But they said that if the transfers hit, then all non-conference games are winnable. But if the transfers don't hit, then every non-conference game is losable, including Chattanooga, which I think is a fair statement. And they talk about
our whole team is transfers, so
that
makes sense.
Our whole season.
Way to go with the hard-hitting analysis there.
But they said that with the being in the East and the draws we have from the West with Texas State and Arkansas State, that it's very possible that we will not be favored in a single conference game this entire season, which I think maybe
we knew we had a hard schedule
to begin the season, maybe. But if we do actually, start winning, we'll definitely, get favored in a few games. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of Roger. But what I wanted to read out is they have a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. Which one do you want to hear first?
Worst.
Let's get the worst case out of the way.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, because this is horrible. All right, 2024 worst
0
case.
wins.
It becomes apparent why Elliott left so suddenly. Despite using transfers to try to patch up holes, it's apparent right away the roster was gutted. They're blown out by Georgia Tech, and it gets even worse with an upset loss to Chattanooga. They go to 0-4 when they get blown out by Georgia Southern, who eventually wins the Sun Belt. Georgia State goes 0-12 with mostly uncompetitive losses. More players transfer out in the offseason, making roster building even tougher. I mean, short of shutting down the program, that is about as bad as it can get.
I was going to say they added in enough details in there that is literally just not anything that they're expecting to happen, but just what would be the worst case for Georgia State fans, period? Let's just make a work of fiction.
-2 wins.
And they include Trash Down South winning the East.
Yeah. They actually win the 2025 national championship.
Oh, no.
It was TDS all along.
It's it sounds like it's a wound that's healing, and then they're like, no, we're just gonna rip that back open and rub some Southern Creek in there just to make it even more infectious.
I would rather die of cancer than have to get into beautiful Eagle Creek.
So you'd get cancer.
I'd get something.
That's
get an
how
infection.
You die.
Yeah.
Flesh-eating bacteria. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, but here's best case scenario. The team comes out firing and shows that new leadership can take them further. Georgia State grabs city bragging rights with a season opening win over Georgia Tech, and a couple of weeks later, they handle Vanderbilt at home to move to 3-0. Georgia State blows out rival Georgia Southern for the sweetest 4-0 start. They ride the momentum from there to a 10-2 season with close losses on the road to Appalachian State and James Madison. They don't win the Sun Belt East as a result, but after the bowl win, this is still the best season in program history and a great way for the Dell McGee era to begin.
Even in the best case scenario, fantasy fiction land, we don't beat Appy.
Or JMU. Boo.
You know, that bothers me like less for some reason. Like I just like but Appy still just, they're like, you know what? That's not gonna happen.
I would
Even
say
in their wildest dreams, they're not beating Appy.
Exactly.
If we go 10-2, I mean, there's a chance that McGee gets poached already. He's gone.
I don't see it happening after one season.
No?
10-2.
I do.
10
If
and
it's
2,
that drastic, yes.
yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to get poached. I do believe, and I believe we will see success that we've never seen before under Dell McGee. But I think we got him for 2 to 3 years. I think 3 years.
I would love to get 4 years out of him.
4 would be great. I'm if we can get 3, I'll be happy with 3.
3 in
4 would
a
be
Sun
killer.
Belt championship, at least one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, if we win a Sun Belt championship this year, maybe
Then he's gone.
But how
I'll
great would that
consider
be?
it a win if he is gone for a head coaching position at a higher caliber.
Oh yeah, P5.
Not a position coach at a former program he worked at.
Yes. Sean was not poached, and that is not him leaving is not a success, except for, he's not here anymore.
Yeah. When he got that when he got that phone call that said Columbia, South Carolina on it, he was probably walking out of the stadium, out of the park, like before he even answered. Like, oh, yep, this is it. I'm gone. I'm out of here. So no, I like the 10-2 season. That sounds good. I like that a lot. But I do feel like if everything plays out the same way they talk about, if we're that good, we're beating at least one of the two, Appalachian or Jimmy Madison. We're getting one of them. If we're that good. So if they were both at home, probably a lot better chance, but play both on the road in that stupid 4-game on the road schedule. That's just going to hurt us.
Yeah, that's a tough.
Good team overcomes
4
it.
weeks. I know we should. But that's tough to go on the road 4 weeks, and you're playing top tier opponents in that stretch. So
yeah, there's not an easy game in that stretch at all. I guess Marshall's not supposed to be that good this year, but we get him on a short week. It's a Thursday game. So
as far as like the roster being, like gutted and it being like kind of a rework, my understanding was, we got a little worse than a lot of people, but like most of the NCAA saw large swaths of starters leaving programs, moving to other programs. Like most programs are going to have a lot of new players on the field starting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's the way it is now.
It feels weird
portal.
Say that about us.
You think about it though. Everyone talks about who we lost, and it was Granger who graduated, so there was no option there.
Yeah, that was going to happen.
Robert Lewis and Marcus Carroll go on to their SEC jobs. Everybody else that left, there's a lot of those guys that did not land anywhere that are still sitting there in the portal. So it's not like we lost a lot of we lost our top tier talent absolutely in those 3 guys, but a lot of the people that left didn't land anywhere. They're not going to be picked up, and McGee has brought in quite the transfer class. Sean Elliott had us at last place in the 2024 recruiting cycle with the high school recruits, absolute dead last in conference. And with the transfers that Dell's brought in, we're up to, was it 10th or 11th? So it's not a big, huge jump, but moved us up high enough to not be dead last any longer. I think it's going to be good. And they're bigger guys. It's a whole different strategy, a different approach to the game under McGee than what Sean Elliott had. I'm not concerned at all. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we seem to not have problems with wide receivers and running backs anyway. It seems like it's always next up, and like there's always a star just waiting to show out. I know that maybe that's like luck or something, and that we have a whole new coach here that maybe didn't hit the way that they did. Who knows? But it just does seem like our program does pretty well there.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. Although, I think the big issue is going to be we still don't know who quarterback's going to be. I don't think the EA Sports even knew
EA
the
Sports says
quarterback.
Gibson, right?
They said Gibson, but they don't
made
even
him
have.
slow. Apparently,
I think he's
Yeah.
slow.
He's probably is slow. But
yeah, they made him slow in the game, like speed wise.
The pit guy.
Yeah. I didn't think you meant like stupid.
He went to Tech and Georgia State. It's not like he went to Trash Down South.
Yeah, they have him doing an interview, and he's just sitting there like drooling. Like,
He doesn't check down. They like hike the ball. He just stands there and starts looking around. Gets sacked.
Like water boy.
I've
never seen a football before. Yeah, no. But the other quarterback, the Pitt transfer, that Chris, whatever his last name is, I don't know how to pronounce it. I thought that I had an idea about it, but then I listened to Brady over on Schultz's podcast and talking about him, and that name is. I've got no idea how to pronounce that name. It's got V and L's in it, but you only hear one of those letters. It's weird. I can't wait for the actual roster to come out that has the pronunciation of players' names, because I'm not going to even attempt his name until I get to see the phonetics on that one.
Well,
I guess
speaking of other podcasts, didn't you listen to a podcast over the last week that did a maybe like an overview of the season or a preview of the?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It was Schultz's. He does the Sun Belt podcast, or he covers the Sun Belt, and he was interviewing Brady from PT and Thursday night, and just talking about the season, what to expect, and everything. There's nothing. I didn't gain anything new other than hearing the guy's name for the first time. It was pretty much all what we already knew.
And the fact we don't know who the quarterback is.
And yeah, that was the big question. It's like, all right, who's the quarterback? And Brady's like, he thinks it's gonna be the Pitt guy, but that's based off of no information. Just seems like that's the only quarterback. I should say that's the best quarterback that McGee brought in, because Zach came in under Sean, and then we got those two quarterbacks from Middle Tennessee.
Yeah,
which is weird that you would get two quarterbacks from the same school.
They're packaged. They're a package deal. You got to take both.
Yeah, that's just odd. I mean, they've got to be bringing them in to be athletes to play a different position or something. There's no way that they're going to be. Yeah. So, but no, it was good. It's always good to hear, just to see more Georgia State content everywhere. Obviously, the best is going to be here, but
sure.
That's right. All the hard hitting analysis that we give.
Exactly. So this is something I posted out in the group this week, and just something that kind of hit me is there's still all this realignment talk, and we don't know what's going to happen. The only thing we know for sure is that Florida State and Clemson are trying to get out of the ACC, and it will happen one way or the other this season, probably.
If you're on Twitter, it seems like every day they'll say something like, "We're within hours of Florida State making an announcement."
Yeah, a move this July.
It's happening to the next few days. Like nothing ever happens.
So it's very possible when whatever happens could be another domino, and there could be a lot of shakeup, a lot of moving, and the Sun Belt could be affected. And I feel like this season could be the most important for Georgia State to prove themselves, because we kind of somewhat passed on an invite to the American back when they were scrambling to get people in, but that's been a couple of seasons now. And if we do look like hot garbage, what the worst case scenario was, I do not want to see Appy or Jimmy Madison get that call up to the American or better.
Texas State is a hot ticket out there, apparently.
Is Texas State one of the ones that we're talking about? I've just seen Appy and Jimmy, and the stakes could not be higher, I feel like, right now, until we know what happens, or should I say, we know what happens. Something's going to happen, and we got to be prepared for it. We have the Convocation Center now. We have baseball getting their facilities done. So as far as a facility side of things, we're set. We're ready. We have to have that football program looking like an attractive offer. I feel like
right.
I do not want to get passed by Appy or Jimmy or any other team. There's no team, but those are the ones we're talking about.
Just to be clear, if Appy gets pulled up, we're not being passed by them.
No,
they're just maintaining their lead.
They're where they have been all along.
Well, we moved up ahead of them. We moved to FBS before they did, so they're kind of
Yeah.
passing us.
Eh.
So,
I think they've always kind of had their shit together in a way that we never have, and that includes off the field, on the field, and off the field. So I would just not even consider that. I think we would be passing them if we got brought up.
no. Well, I was thinking about this as well. Like, we all heard that there was a Conference USA invite that was out there, but Cheryl Levick had that relationship with Carl Benson, and so she picked Sunbelt over Conference USA. And at the time, maybe it was a bad decision. Conference USA had a better perception. That definitely changed over time. Sunbelt by far has a better perception now. But I feel like if we had taken that Conference USA invite back then, maybe we would be in the American right now.
Or we'd still make a decision to stay.
Hard to say.
I hope not. I hope we'd be like, oh, yeah, we got into this conference that's above the Sun Belt. Let's take the next invitation we get to go even higher.
I don't think there was a single school in Conference USA that was not looking for a way out.
Right.
Yeah, possibly the only exception would be Louisiana Tech, only because what was it? Their AD or coach, whatever, talked about Lafayette
Louisiana,
taking that step up to Conference USA one day. Like, yeah.
They're in the worst conference now and solidifying it. And they only have one direction they'll go, which is, to American. American didn't want them. So now it's like, where are you going to go now, MAC? I mean, it doesn't even make sense, but you could.
I don't give a crap about any of those programs over there, but, you got to feel sorry for the fans of like Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, and UTEP, just being surrounded by Kennesaw State. And was it Jacksonville State, and Sam Houston?
Yeah.
Delaware's coming in next
year.
Oh God,
got UD coming up.
Yeah. That's got it. I think there's like.
I don't think I knew that one. There was CAA, weren't they?
They are. We used to play in basketball. Yep.
Yeah, Delaware was the first. Oh, and Missouri State too. Delaware is the first school that has to pay the $5 million to transition, and Missouri State's gonna be the second school to have to pay that $5 million. Where does that go? I think it should go to us. I want $5 million
directly to Georgia State. Only Georgia State.
No, I meant. Well, I was gonna say State of Atlanta, but no, just actually David Brown. Just like write me that check.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll take State of Atlanta. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Sorry, that seemed absurd at the time, but now it doesn't.
Why would they pay Georgia State for a team to move up to a different conference? They should just pay me directly. It makes way more sense.
Clearly.
I mean, Delaware is a weird one though. Like, I feel like I've not even heard that name pop up. Every other name there I've heard and has performed well in FCS.
Are they like the Blue Hens or something weird like that?
Yeah,
the
Delaware
Blue Hens.
Feels like out of left field.
UD's their mascot name.
The mascot is named UD.
Yeah.
Or is it UD?
Like
or is it
U and D. UD.
UD. Because Georgia, there.
You got me casually interested in Conference USA, and I brought up their map of teams, and it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
Especially that Liberty thing up there.
Oh yeah, Liberty too.
And they have a pretty good shot of moving up too, just because they got all them dollars.
Because they have unlimited NIL money and funds.
They have so much money.
Just like Oregon does.
Obviously it's just message board fodder, but from everything that I see anywhere is that, Ryan, your take on Liberty is pretty much the same feeling that most ADs have. They're
toxic.
They don't want to be associated with that university. And then, actually, I should say that's what presidents feel. Athletic directors have a feeling of, since Liberty does have such a huge cash flows, like, why would we invite a team to our conference that has resources that is so much greater
instantly be better than us? Just
exactly, because look at them. They're playing Conference USA now with their cupcake schedule, and they got the New Year's Six Bowl because they just steamrolled through their crappy FCS opponents, and so it's a crap conference.
I would say something else, but it's not time for last call yet.
I've got no Sunbelt pride, but man, Conference USA sucks as a conference right now.
if AAC invited us, though, I think you'd have to, I would trust that our athletic director would have some serious conversations about what the future contracts look like as far as money goes, because I think the AAC is going to take quite a dive, and the Sun Belt is probably going to take quite a leap. And
I wouldn't
so
say a leap. I think they'll
it's
take
going
a
to go
step
up.
forward.
It's going
They'll
to
take
go
a step
up.
forward. But we already have a head coach that's on record as saying that he wants out of this conference.
Oh, I know.
So,
I'm just saying, like, there would have to be a serious consideration, because I think already we are in a better performing conference.
Oh yeah,
mhm.
And
Top to
so
bottom,
if the
easily.
money
Well,
is,
on the East.
if the
yeah.
money gets right and isn't right in the AAC, then there's just no reason to do it. I mean, the money is like the only reason to go to the AAC, in my opinion. And if it's
Well,
if
yeah.
it's going to fall off because they took all the teams out, who cares?
How
Why would we
much
go there?
how much extra money would you need to say, okay, it's worth it? $1 mil?
I think
2
it's
mil?
I think it's many times the amount of money.
No, I
I
mean,
think it's
I'm
like
saying,
5 or
like,
6 times right now.
when everything
No.
balances back out, how much more would you have to get to say, okay, it's still worth it now that everything's rebalanced?
I don't know.
Well, considering we're already flying our players everywhere, I think that the cost, it doesn't matter. Hell, we could join the Pac-2, and I don't think it's going to change that much because we're already flying everybody everywhere. That's not that big of an issue.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think the American was paying their teams like $6 or $7 million a year. The new Sunbelt deal is like close to $2 million or right at $2 million a year. You know, if you figure Sunbelt takes a step forward and American takes a step back, American probably still paying more. And the new teams did not get the same $7 million or $6 million, whatever it was. They didn't.
Well, they will though, right? It's like a grant. They get, like, after they're there for a certain amount of time, they get the equal.
To my understanding, at the next media deal, they will all get equal shares.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, because they brought in more teams than they lost, so ESPN wasn't just going to toss more money at them. Like, you guys got to figure out a way to.
They're like, here's your bank, make it work, right?
ESPN doesn't care at all about how much money goes to each school. They don't care if
they're just throwing money at
Memphis gets everything and they give zero to anybody else. They don't care. They're like, we're just paying you out, this amount times the number of schools you got. So
look, I mean, I think if you're making double, you go, right? I mean, think about.
Really, at this point, if it's $1 more, or hell, if it's the same money, if the American is offering us the exact same money,
don't go.
That we're against Sunbelt, you go. Absolutely.
No, because the Sunbelt is a better conference for the quality of football.
It'd be tough to go if it's the same money.
You don't go. You stay.
I still think the expenses would be higher to move to the American, even if you fly everywhere. I still think it's going to be more expensive.
I say you go. If you're not
losing
money,
it. Like,
if you're not losing money,
we don't fit in this conference anyway. We're out. Bye.
Why?
Yeah. Why? Well, for one reason, we don't fit the profile of the Sun Belt. We are the only.
We play football. They play football.
We are a ginormous urban university, and we have rinky-dink college town schools.
What's that have to do with playing football?
Well, because presidents make decisions about which universities they're affiliated with, not athletic directors or football coaches. It's going to be Dr. President Blake that makes that decision. And it's the same reason why the Big Ten is such a big stickler on their AAU status, or is AAU, right? The presidents want to be, at least in the Big Ten, they want to be associated with good academic program, good academic schools. It's the same thing with Georgia State. You want to be affiliated. It makes sense to be with.
You keep just saying you want to do that, but you're not really saying the why.
The association.
What does that get us?
When the perception of the program, the subjective perception of not the football program, but the academics, those are the schools that when someone says Georgia State, do you want them to hear, oh, I have a degree from Georgia State? Oh, that's just the same thing as getting a degree from Lafayette or Monroe? No, you want to hear that's like getting a Tulane degree or a Temple degree or something like that. I did pick the two worst cities in the entire American conference.
Yeah, I don't want those. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't give a shit about that.
I'm surprised you didn't throw up in your mouth when you said it.
Well, or the Bud Light that I'm drinking.
Look, I went to Georgia State. Most people, when I have literally had people interview me and say, "Oh, look, so you went to Georgia Tech," and I just was like, "Yeah."
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not going to correct you if you think I went to a way better educational
Yes,
school.
I went to Georgia State Tech. Yes, yes.
I play in a bocce league. I've been playing a bocce league for 12, 13, 14 years, something like that. And I wear almost every week, I have worn a Georgia State hat. Sometimes I wear my Ryan Graham hat, but
Hey,
nice.
But I wear my Georgia State hat almost every single time. And last night, somebody that I've been playing with for years was like, "Is that a Jacksonville Jaguars hat?" I'm like, Jacksonville Jaguars? What the
Son
hell?
of a bitch!
what? That's offensive.
Yeah. So that Panther head is not getting the exposure in Atlanta that we think it is, or we want it to get at least.
No. Well, you haven't convinced me, David. I'm still staying here if it's
well, you know what?
it's the
You
same.
enjoy going to University of Monroe games at the box, and I'll enjoy Memphis, and who else do they have? USF.
I'll just say I'd rather have a better strength of schedule and look better on the rankings and whatnot.
UAB. UAB, get UAB in there. That'd be a good one to be associated with there. That's a good program. They got
We should
medical
invite them
college.
to the Sun Belt.
Well, yeah, I would have loved to have them in the Sun Belt. Well, would have loved to have them. Oh well, that's a whole different conversation.
I don't love the Sun
Anyhow.
Belt, but I think we're getting to the point where if we're not going to the P5, we should stay in the Sun Belt. I think we're going in that direction.
I don't want to be in this conference. This conference sucks so bad.
See. Maybe we'll have a conference reshuffle in the G5.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to, right? Just like a total reshuffle, like a geographic reshuffle or something like that.
Like none of this matters anymore. Let's make it work, right?
Maybe, yeah. Hit reset.
Well,
G5.
I see the East Division of the Sun Belt breaking off and doing their own conference.
God, that'd be crazy if we did that.
I think it's wishful thinking, but
and probably pulling in an ECU and somebody else. I don't know.
Well, Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky.
Yeah, they'd be the furthest west programs.
Yeah, but they fit into an Eastern footprint, I think.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind
north of us. So
I wouldn't mind a 10-team like East Coast conference, but I just don't like. I mean, obviously, I don't like Trash Down South being in conference. That's also a goal of mine. I want to get out of a conference with Trash Down South. We can maintain the game. We can still just chalk up one out of conference game every season. To be rotation with.
No, I think we'd have to. We should.
I'm fine with
I don't care if we're in a
I'm
conference
fine.
with them or not.
I am. You know, as much as I hate that program, that school, and that fans, and everything about them, I have zero problem maintaining that relationship. It's a game that should be played in every sport, every single season, regardless of conference affiliation. I just don't want to be in the conference with them. So,
I feel that.
Yeah.
I don't have to be in a conference with them, but it doesn't hurt me if we're in the conference with them either. I don't want them to follow us again. Like if we move, then 2 years later, they
like a dumb kid brother that's like wherever you go, they got to come hang out with you and your friends. Like, oh man, shut up.
They're like, hey, what are you doing over here? Get the out of here. You're not coming.
I'm trying to do drugs with my friends in the city over here.
Yeah, you're ruining it.
All right. Speaking of them, this is a change of topic a little bit. I don't know if I was going to save it for a last call or not, but we're getting close to it. Did you see? I posted the tweet. Pictures came out of their new convocation center at Trash Down South.
The one that looks pretty much spot on to the original renders that they all hated with a passion and said this is terrible. That one.
It is so horrible. I mean, so it's cute. It's adorable. It's
I do have a question about the roof. Is it made of corrugated aluminum?
It looks like it could be. They painted it white though, so it's
when it rains, it's all just clink, 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 clink.
It really brightens up the area, but it has no second bowl to it. It's just nothing but a lower bowl, if you want to call it that. Like it's arguably better than the sports arena, but
it is. I mean, it is.
It's better than their last arena too.
If the sports arena didn't have the blocked off sides behind the baskets, like if it actually had seats on those back there somehow, then it's the same thing. It's no different. That's the only.
There are a lot of bleachers at the sports arena.
But the sports arena actually had a second level. This doesn't have a second level.
Yeah,
you know.
So they kept I remember the original renders of this new arena, and all the Southern fans kept touting that, oh, you watch, it's not going to look like that. this is just what they're showing you, but it looks
They're showing
freaking.
it to you 'cause that's what it's gonna look like. you
It
dumbass.
looks
because
pretty
that's
much just like it.
Yeah.
That's the way it always works. You always get a crappier version of renderings to show it to all of your donors to say, "Hey, we're building this," and then you make it better. It never happens that you come up with something and then you scale back. That never happens. You never scale back. You always just show them something crappy. Yeah,
That's how you raise money, right? You show them shitty renderings.
They're really trying to love it though. They're really hard. I mean,
dude, I follow I go to the Sunbelt message board every day just to see what people are talking about around the conference and everything, and they talk about every single facility improvement change is out there. There is over a week old thread about Texas State getting new football turf on their football field that's still getting comments today. There is not a single thread by a Southern fan talking about these new pictures they have, the new renderings they have, or not renderings, the actual pictures of
the final product
of what they have out there. They're not talking about it at all.
And they are just as upset as we are, as some of us are, about not having the scoreboard, the hanging scoreboard. I don't know what they're called. The center court.
Overhead scoreboard, overhead thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you look at, remember the original renders we had, with this crazy awning that went all the way out to the road and all this extra experience stuff. We didn't get any of that, obviously, but the product we did get way leaps and bounds better than what they're actually ending up with.
Oh, for sure. The comic, the box is leaps and bounds better than what that garbage is they have down there.
It's really nice. I love the box. I think it's great.
I'm just glad. The one thing that I was scared of losing because when you see renderings, things start changing. They start spending less money, and you don't get the same product that you wanted. Was that window to the city? That's so sharp. I love having that big huge window, that big window wall out there. It's great.
Yeah, my biggest complaint about the box is how they utilize the space, but that's because I don't think we should be doing pregame stuff in the basement. Like a weird classroom thing. I think we should be doing it up top and all game long. But I know there were some complaints about people without butts in seats, and I'm just like, who cares?
Either do it in that.
You want warm bodies in the building.
Either do it in that one suite they have, or do it by that window where they do a lot of student type stuff. I've always said, when I was on the PAC board, I said people need to know what they need to go to school for their 4 or 5 or Georgia State, so 8 years, and see the Panther Athletic Club everywhere. They need to see that thing. They need to see people having fun, enjoying it, and be like, when I graduate, I want to be part of that experience.
Yeah.
Tucking away PAC members underneath the stadium, people have no idea what's going on.
Everyone scurries into this tunnel and is not to be seen. It's not a great look. No one sees it. No one even knows what's going on.
We get a speech from a coach, I
like
that. Something like that. No, it's really cool, but it's all tucked away, and nobody sees that happening. Nobody, it's a cool event, and nobody that's not in it knows it's happening.
Yeah, and it's just it's a classroom. It's not even like that nice area. It's just a white room with a whiteboard and a little TV up there, and if you go to an 11 o'clock game on a Friday, the beer coolers are all locked up and nobody knows where the key is, and you can't get into it, and you start jonesing and your hands are shaking.
People still got into it. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that.
Anyhow, all right. One last thing. We can go to last call. This is something that annoys me, and everybody else says that I'm stupid about it, but UGA had their home and home series with UCLA canceled by UCLA, and instead of that opened up a home game for UGA for next season. I can't talk right. And they scheduled Marshall. We still need a 2025 game, and UGA finds themselves without one, and they schedule Marshall, not Georgia State.
1.6 million.
Oh yeah, it's more than that. I think it's 1.7 million, and then a 1,600 ticket buy or something like that. But
you're like, man, we could have done that for $500K. Let's do it.
Do it for. I would take obviously that's not the way the stuff works. I would take a free game. I take a free game to be able to get it. It's not going to happen. Obviously, it's not happening anyway. But I would take it a free game to get a chance to get the team up in Athens and play that game. But it annoys me. And everyone's like, well, ever since Trash Down South took them to overtime in Athens, they're never going to play a G5 program ever again, an in-state program ever again.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's not one of those things where this game is scheduled 5 or 6 years out. You got no idea the state of your program. Then you have no idea the state of their program at that time. This was going to be next year. We've got Dell McGee, who's best buds with Kirby Smart. Like, how does this game not happen? How do we not get?
Here's the deal. Even if we pulled an upset or whatever, that's not going to change how recruiting happens. There's not going to be Georgia recruits that are like, I'm going to go to Georgia State instead of Georgia.
They won
year in and year out national championship contender. That's absurd.
I'm going to pass up 6 figures to go to Georgia State.
Exactly. That's not very reasonable. That's why I don't know why there's an attitude of they'll never do it, except for the evidence is that they did have every 2 years or every 4 years they were playing Southern, and they stopped that as soon as TDS came up to G5. So that would be evidence.
Kind of. I think it's more so Tech stopped playing the option. They used that game. They would schedule teams that played option. So
maybe
they use it as practice. there are other teams. I think they used to sometimes slot a Sanford in there because I think they play the option. So when Tech changed and Southern changed, there's no reason to continue that. There just isn't. What's the point? You're not practicing anymore.
Yeah. Just instead of that, just go play Austin P or Norfolk State,
whoever,
or crap like that. Yeah,
or Marshall.
It just makes so much more sense. Our schedule would be at Tech this year, at Georgia next year, and then hosting Tech the following season. That would be that'd have been so awesome.
Yeah,
that'd have been so awesome.
But but we're fine, right? We have a game. It's just not known what it is.
Suppose I don't know if Charlie Cobb knows what he's talking about. So
I also think before we jump on it and say why isn't it us? Well, maybe there was reasons, maybe there was discussion and it fell apart for some reason, and we just don't know anything about any of it.
Maybe they
if our name even came up at all, I don't know. I heard they canceled it and that they had rescheduled it in the same 24 hours. So,
no, UCLA canceled the series for Cal and Utah.
Right, so. And then I heard that Marshall was scheduled it was
a couple hours later.
Yeah. So it's not like there was this big window of it being public knowledge. Maybe UGA just didn't even reach out to us.
Well, we should have reached out to them. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we didn't know. Maybe they had already had everything worked out.
They probably already had the ink dry. I mean, by then.
You're apologist for.
No, I just don't know. I just have no idea what we knew and what Before I blame our guys for falling, I mean, I blame Georgia State for enough stuff, right? The Georgia State Athletics Department for enough stuff.
Sure.
But before I blame them for something like this, I would want to know more information about what happened, they knew, when they knew it.
I would like to see something that makes me feel like they're trying. Once that game got canceled, I would have liked to see the social media accounts of Georgia State be like, "Hey, Georgia, here you have an opening next year. So do we."
I just feel like
Georgia already put it out there.
Ask like how it gets scheduled.
I feel like Georgia already.
No, that's not how it gets scheduled. I agree with that. What I'm saying is, I want to see something from our athletics program that shows me they're trying, and whether they're actually doing it behind the scenes or not. Same thing with the schedule. I would have loved for Charlie Cobb to come out and condemned the Sun Belt for this horrendous schedule we have. Just say something. Give me something that you actually care about this program, because I don't see anything right now.
Maybe like a meme tweet towards the Sun Belt,
Yeah.
I would rather see the
eating bread determine the schedule. I don't know.
I'd rather see us actually get the schedule than just virtue signal on social media. So,
well, yeah, obviously I want the game more than I want that, but we didn't get either one of
those. You'd rather see us say something on social media.
No, I want us to see. If the game was never going to happen to begin with, I want the program to give the appearance of trying, and we're not getting that.
So you want us to be like, "Hey, Georgia, anytime you have a cancellation, just let us know."
No, now you're just being passive about the whole thing. I'm saying an opportunity presented itself.
It did not. They already knew the game was going to be canceled.
Yeah, that's
they already contacted everyone.
I even gave
fine,
24
I'm
hours,
honest.
and like it was only a few hours between like when that got canceled and when they announced the other one. They didn't work that Marshall deal out in just a couple hours. Like that was a done deal.
Right. Just like
It may have
Charlie
been.
Cobb's done deal has been signed for a year now.
I'm not blaming Georgia for this. I'm blaming Georgia State for not
We
giving
didn't.
the appearance of trying.
So pretending. You want us to pretend.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We
1,000%.
need to give that feedback to athletics. Look, can you just pretend like we're trying?
Give the fans
You don't
something.
actually have
Look,
to do it.
we know you're not gonna try, so if you could just fake it a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like, you know.
Finally.
I was
Guys are
gonna make
getting
a
it.
basketball joke about faking it, but
Fake it till you make it.
All right.
Or-
I just want to hear you moan a little bit. Jesus Christ.
Or last call.
That's right. All right. Speaking of last call, I think we're ready
there?
to make that move.
And at last call, we actually have a cage match planned. No rules, no, and we're just gonna go at it.
Are we?
Are we?
I'm just making a joke because I feel like we got a little hostile there.
With
at the
some
end.
moaning.
Well, just because you guys are being dumb doesn't mean it was getting hostile.
Oh boy.
Hey Ryan, I'm gonna do an entire episode on scheduling if you keep this nonsense up, all right?
I love how scheduling's the
You toe the line, Ryan, or I'll get you.
I'm gonna shove that schedule so far down your throat.
All right, Tim, take us out of here.
Thanks for listening. We're gonna take a quick break here, get some more beverages, maybe cool off for a second, and then head over to last call. If you like what you heard, or if you didn't, join our Patreon anyway at patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You'll get live streaming access, discounts on merch. David will have lots of merch ready for football season. He's promised. Group chat action, always lively, always has breaking news, and adult beverages at tailgates and more if we go on trips. Become a fan of the show for, I think, $5 a month. We'd love to have you aboard. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.